I'm Domonkos, Tikk, founder and the CEO of Gravity R&D. In a nutshell, the agenda for today. First, we start with the Gravity R&D introduction. Then, the main focus of today's webinar will be the case study, what we did with Jófogás.hu, Schibsted Classified Media Group subsidiary in Hungary. And from the second part of the presentation, we will show you how a personalization project is executed and performed with Gravity, including goals, milestones, and results. So, who we are and what we do. Gravity R&D is a leading personalization platform provider. We have two business lines. One is for online businesses and the second is for the TV industry. Today we will focus on one segment of our online businesses, which is the classified media website. In Gravity we are proud of our skillful and competent data miner and BI professional team, which was awarded several times. I would highlight from those achievements our first place achieved at the Netflix prize competition you may have heard of. This was the biggest machine learning related recommender system competition with $1 million grand prize. Second, I would mention the ICMA Innovation Award that we received last year together with the joint project with Jófogás, the Schibsted Hungarian site, which will be covered. This project will be covered in this webinar. Gravity is a fast-growing company with over 50 deployments in the last year. Our online product, which is called Rico, has clients over 3 continents, so from the Americas to Europe and in Japan. Obviously we have our main focus in Europe because we are located here. So let me start the Jófogás story, how we were approached by them. So and what was ended up with this prestigious ICMA Innovation Award last May. So Jófogás, as probably all of classified media website or internet marketplaces, faces with the following challenge. They have millions of advertisements, thousands of users with different user needs and different information needs, but they have only one screen to provide content for their users. Obviously the question whether do you have to show the same content for everyone. Our answer is no, and because and this is was the starting point of our joint project with Jófogás, where we aimed at personalized user experience for each and every visitor. So when you have personalized user experience, you can provide better navigation and content discovery for your users. This will obviously engage your users, which will be manifested in several different ways. When they are shown more relevant content, they will obviously view more ad pages on your site, which keep them longer on your site. They will contact more sellers. Additionally, if you put also relevant content on typical exit pages, your exit rate will also decrease considerably. I would like also mention that Jófogás is a very innovative and fast-growing company. Therefore, they opted for best-in-class solution provided by Gravity for this personalization project. The project milestones were the following. We started the project in May 2011, and as usually such a project with Gravity starts with a business requirement specification where we mutually agree in the performance goals and in the key performance indicators, KPIs of the system. We also decide then on recommendation box placement on the side, how many ads should be in each boxes, and so on. So this is a kind of design and business discussion phase. Once it is finished, then as with Yofogás, it's an A/B test started in August 2011, which lasted about half a year. During this A/B test, we compared our results with Yofogás available system, and we also fine-tuned our recommender solution to meet the requirements of a classified business site. This was our first, Yofogás was our first client in that online business segment, so we needed a bit more time than regularly to adapt our algorithms to the given requirements. And at the end of the successful A/B test, which will be the results will be presented by Tamas shortly, we started a full deployment where all of Yofogás visitors received recommendations provided by us. In terms of load, this was about 6 million recommendations daily with a 10,000 recommendation requests per minute load in the peak time, which is quite considerable. So what is the Rico solution? Rico solution is a platform that boosts visitor engagement and provides personalized content for each and every visitor of the website. Let me show you some details of what happens under the hood, what are those information which are the main inputs of our recommendation solution. We have here identified 4 different tiers. The first one is the on-site activity of the visitors. This includes clicks, searches, product or page views, email clicks, and any different kind of user interaction with content of your site. We have so-called collaborative filtering algorithms to identify from that big amount of data of all user clicks what are the main bits of information to profile user efficiently. And the collaborative term here refers to the fact that we are able to profile user based on the similarity of preferences with other users. So the next part of information what we rely on is the product related information. Here we are talking about any kind of information that is available in your inventory or in your catalog. So product info, metadata, location of the given product, and so on. We apply content-based filtering algorithms to exploit those information which are provided in this information sources. So we have been talking about users and and the content, the ads. But also it is very important to see what is the context of a recommendation. So here we can talk about contextual information. If you think about a situation when your visitor enters from a search engine, then it is very important to know and to take into account in the recommendation what is the search query that brought your visitors onto your site. Apart from that, there are also other information which is useful here and can be considered as context. For instance, the location of the user, which can be obtained from geo-IP address, or the device on which the user browses your website, because that also gives you some more information what the user is interested in the very moment of his or her visit. So this is what we call together context awareness, and those algorithms which are able to integrate those information are called context-aware algorithms. And last but not least, we have social events and the social behavior of the user that we can make use in recommendation and in characterizing the preference of the user. This is called together social recommendations when we have all when we consider also social behavior into personalization. Let me give you an example how the recommendation solution works. So when someone enters the very first time to your website, you have practically no information about her. You have no information about her interest. In this case, we have we make use of contextual information like location and device, and provide top-selling products in that particular subgroup. But even after a very few clicks of the user, we are able to identify the actual information need and therefore to bring up the relevant content from your inventory to show to the user. And after approximately 4 or 5 clicks, we are able to identify those products or those advertisements there which is with high probability of great interest for the very user at that particular visit. I should also add that when you have a user, a returning user, we also make a trade-off between the actual information need of the user and the historical data. So we combine those two factors and provide and reflect this in the recommendation and in the advertisement what we display. Let me also talk about some very important extensions of the key features of our Rico product. The first one is the multi-screen potential. Rico is a back-end solution, so we are able to provide recommendation to any kind of screen through our APIs. Although, having said that, it is also important to understand that users or visitors may behave differently when using different devices, and we make use of that information when providing recommendation. We also can connect data gathered from different devices with the same user. The second is cross-domain personalization, which is important when you have more than one site and you may want to take the traffic from a well-known site to a freshly introduced one, and to take your visitors to introduce them to your new website. We are able to make use of of information provided by the users across all domains or all sites in your portfolio. It is also important to see what is the output or what is the benefit of a personalization solution. For that, we provide interfaces on both ends of the value chain. First, we provide a powerful management dashboard where marketers can configure and set campaigns and A/B test, for instance, and then on the advanced reporting interface they can see how they perform and change certain parameters accordingly. This reporting interface is an online real-time reporting interface where you can see immediately the effect of your campaigns. And now I will ask Tamas to continue the presentation with the case study.
Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Tamas Motajcsek and I'm the key account manager of Ricos Focus and also other Shipstead sites in the group. And let me firstly introduce you this case study that AIM Group. You might be familiar with AIM Group, which is also a classified industry-specific institution worldwide. They usually prepare classified industry reports, and they actually prepared this case study with Yofogás that was actually published last month in June, so it's quite freshly prepared. And I would strongly recommend that for you to download this case study from the link that you can find at the bottom of this page. Of course, you will get the presentation after the webinar, so you will have the link for downloading this case study. But let me go into some of the details of what Yofogás and Gravity achieved together in terms of certain key performance indicators or KPIs during the A/B test and after the A/B test. The very first KPI that I would like to show you is the number of ad detail page views per visit, how this KPI performed in the A/B test period. As you can see, in the very beginning of the A/B test, there was a warm-up period where the Gravity group actually just overcame the control group without recommendations by 2%. They needed some time to fine-tune the algorithm and to just warm up the algorithm to learn user behavior of the classified site. And as you can see, after about 1 month, this number just jumped from 2% to about 10 to 14%. And this is where actually it stayed up to the end of the pilot. And we can say that the increase in number of ad detail page views in the Gravity group compared to the control group without recommendations was about 12%, 11 to 12% in general. Here's an example of the ad detail page at Yofogás. I was not able to show you the whole page. I had to cut here the page, but as you can imagine, ad detail page has a picture on the upper side, some description about the ad, and at the bottom of the page we have the recommendation box with 3 personalized classified ads, and of course this is tailored to each and every individual person. Here are some statistics for the click-through rates, the CTRs, how this developed over time from the beginning of the A/B test up to actually end of last year. This also needed some warm-up period in the very first month. It was about 2 to 3% in the beginning, but then it basically jumped 2 or 3 times higher to about 6 to 7%. And that is also for the ad detail page as well as the result page. And here's a screenshot for the result page. Of course, this is a longer list that goes up here, but at the bottom of the result page, so after a person clicks on the main page on a specific region and lands on the result page, then at the bottom of that page you can have a recommendation widget on the bottom here with 4 personalized content recommendations. Of course, the majority of the page views are for the add detail pages and the result pages. About 95% of the page views are relating to those two types of pages. There are certain other types of pages like the after add reply page, when somebody already sends a contact request to a seller, and or maybe if or if somebody is looking for advertisements by keyword and lands on a result list that is empty, so-called zero result list, or when somebody places an advertisement or deletes an advertisement, these activities, these page views can be considered exit pages where we can decrease the exit rate considerably, as you will see later on. And on these types of pages, the CTR of our recommendation box is reached between 25 to 30, 35%. Here is an example for the recommendation box on the zero result page. And this is an example for the recommendation box when somebody sends a contact request to the seller. Then after this action is done, the person lands on a separate page with a box of gravity with recommended, further recommended classified ads. This is an example for the case when somebody is looking for classified ads by keyword, in this case BMW, and there are findings like there is a result list that the person received. Still we can have here, and we have here, a recommendation box on the upper part of the page with 4 recommended classified ads. And this is on the right side of the result page is what's so-called a gallery, which is a sponsored ads box for people who actually pay for their advertisement to get into this box. And other interesting statistics from Jófogás is the proportion of visitors who actually click on recommendations. In the very beginning, this was about 20%, and then after a short period of time, it increased to 35 to 40%, which is a 75 to 100% improvement, which is quite considerable. And the last statistics that I want to show you is the gravity system average response time, which in the beginning was about 100 milliseconds, but then it quickly dropped to 40 and then down to 20 milliseconds, which is an 80% decrease in response time. So these were the areas and solutions that we applied at Jófogás.hu. However, there are some further options for potential extensions that I would just like to draft for you. And I would highlight three options here. The first one is personalized retargeting. Retargeting meaning that if somebody, a visitor, visited your site but didn't convert and left it, and you can attract that visitor back from other third-party sites if you place a banner, but not just a simple banner, but a personalized banner on that third-party site. So what we can help you with is that we can personalize the banner that you place on third-party or partner sites based on what the visitor's interest was on your site when he was still browsing on this. The other such potential extension option would be dynamic landing pages. Domonkos already mentioned to you the case when we are, from the contextual information, we know what the referral URL is, and we know from that what the keywords were that the person was using before that person landed on your classified site. So if we know the keywords, of course we can provide a personalized and keyword-specific landing page for each and every person, thus helping you keep that visitor on your site and not leaving, not letting the person leave right after. You know, the landing page needs to be personalized. That's for sure.
Just something to add here. This is also important to increase your ROI, because here with this solution you can save money, or actually spend better your money what you spent on search engine marketing or optimization, and because you keep more visitors on site and your bounce rate will be decreased if you show them dynamic landing pages.
Thank you. Then third such option would be smart search. We mean here two different options. One option is the so-called predictive search, or autocomplete, in other words. In which case, if somebody is filling out the search box and is typing 2-3 letters already, then we can give that person a personalized search term list to choose from. And the other is the list, it's the ranking of the result list itself after such a keyword was applied in the search box. So if I'm looking for, let's say, here the case is dog training program, and I get a list of I don't know, hundreds of such results, that list should be ranked according to my personal relevancy, ideally at least. And the last such option would be the email personalization. We found that most of the classified sites provide transactional type emails. What I mean by this is that if somebody uploads an advertisement or deletes it or edits it, or a buyer sends a contact request or ad reply to a seller, of course these events generate an automatic transactional type email. These emails are a good opportunity for the classified site to attract the people who open those emails, to attract back to the site and start browsing again. So why not placing a personalized recommendation box in these transactional type emails? And also newsletters, although we found that newsletters are not so general in a lot of classified sites, but they actually start to think about providing newsletters to their customer base, and weekly or monthly or just maybe a campaign specific emails. But those emails can also have personalized recommendations, because we have all the visitor information, the visitor behavior information, what the person was interested in before, so we can provide personalized recommendations in those emails, thus helping the classified site to attract more and more people back to the site from the emails itself. And now please, Domonkos, continue with integration process and timeline.
Okay, so some words about the technical details and the solution, and also a few words about the timeline of an integration project. So as we already mentioned, there is, as a first step, business requirement and business discussion step, where we mutually agree in KPIs and objectives of how the personalization solution should be applied to a website. Of course, we have out-of-the-box solutions, but our experience tells us that each and every client is somewhat different and would like to personalize the personalization solution for their actual need. So this is followed by an integration phase where we receive the data what we need to provide recommendations on your site or in emails, which can take 1 to 2 week time, depending the integration process what you prefer. I will talk about those later in more detail. So then a fine-tuning period starts, where we configure our algorithms and make them learn the actual behavior of your site to meet the objectives in the best possible way. And when this is finished, then it starts the normal operation and maintenance. For that we have two solutions to be outlined later. As for the integration part, our experience is that it is usually 1-2 days per page, where page means here an add detailed page or a result page or an email integration. So this is usually takes 1-2 days on the client side, which may add up altogether to 1 or 2 weeks at the end. It also depends on the integration type what we agree on, where there are several options. So we also support server-side integration, and we provide APIs for the most typical technologies like REST or SOAP API. We also have PHP and Java API for server-side integration. On the other hand, we also support JavaScript and client-side integration, so then the recommendation request is directed from the visitor's browser to our server. We also do two different kind of solution depending where the recommendation solution is hosted. So as default, we propose software as a service solution for our clients, which is typically served from our Budapest data center in Europe, and which has very good connections to entire Europe. This can be also replicated in other data centers overseas, so we can also provide software as a service solution overseas, but then we can support also an appliance solution where when the recommendation engine is deployed in the data center on the client premises, and then we only provide maintenance and user guide how to maintain the recommender solution. We also recently published a white paper which summarizes our experience for personalizing classified media websites. Here we provide you a link to the white paper which is available from our website. But I would like to highlight some of the key messages of that white paper as an appetizer for you now. So there we also include results from other pilot projects run on different classified media websites, where we cover all different kinds of key performance indicator, placements of recommendation boxes, and so on. I don't want to go into details. Please download the white paper to check out those results. We have also identified that in different life cycle stages of a classified website, you faces with different challenges, with different problems. And of course, the ROI generation is also different in each and every stages of classified websites. Therefore, we identified extension opportunities to assist classified sites in each and every stages of their life cycle. In the beginning, we can shorten the time to reach the critical number of users or content on your site. Later on, we can keep and activate users to use your website more often, and in the monetization phase, we can help you to get the most out of your customer base. More information is available also in the mentioned white paper. So as a takeaway message of this webinar and before the Q&A, I would like to recall the main main points of our joint project with jófogás.hu. We wanted to boost visitor engagement on their site, and we achieved the following numbers on jófogás. So the ad reply rate was increased by about 10%. We have seen that not just on jófogás but on other websites we can boost ad detailed page views per visit by almost 20%. But even more drastic is the improvement of CTR compared to standard solution of most popular content. There we can achieve a 3-digit number improvement which can be more than 300%. So as a next step, we would be happy to give you a personal demo and show you a live Rico experience of our solution. So please contact us through the touch points given on the screen. We are happy to take a tour for you. So thank you for your attention, and we are happy to take any questions.
Great. Thank you guys so much for sharing this case study with us. I'm sure many of our attendees have taken away some very valuable insights from hearing your experience. Looks like we have about 15 minutes for a Q&A. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to write them in the chat box. In the meantime, while we wait for the questions to pop up, we do have some that have come in earlier. The first one is from Christina, and she's wondering if you guys would be able to share the dashboard of the Rico system just to show what the screen looks like. Is that possible?
Well, I think unfortunately this is not in the backup slides of the presentation for today, but if Christina contacts us directly, we are happy to show a live demo or screenshots of the dashboard solution. Maybe while Tamas perhaps answers the next question, we can check it out and dig it out from Tamas' computer, some related screens.
Okay, that'd be great. I have a question too, just based on from your the slide before this one that's up, the results page. How long did what was the time period in which the results were acquired? So the 10%, how long did you guys see the results from? Oh.
Can you see the screen now?
Now we can, yes.
So this one.
Yes, correct.
Actually, this is an average percentage what we achieved after a few weeks of tuning.
A few weeks, okay.
So the main information bits in this sentence is a few weeks. Usually there are big differences in different ad categories. So for instance, jobs are typically such a category that has a much better ad reply rate than, for instance, general miscellaneous categories. So there are certain categories which are very effective with recommendation in ad replies.
Okay, so even just a short time after implementing personalization, people can see dramatic results.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. We have another question from Spas, and it's he wants to know, what do you mean by response time decrease? And how was the recommendation system used for promoted ads, and what were the results? So 2 questions.
Okay, so the first one is that so we, as it was shown on the graph, we started with 100 millisecond response time, which is already quite a good response time. But then we find some way to optimize serving the request for Jófogás, and then we managed to have this 80% improvement in response time. This is actually excludes the time between the server of our client and ourselves. So this is the response time what we measure in the system. Usually there is a few more milliseconds depending on the distance between our data center and the client country, which is added to this response time.
Okay. Also, just to further that, question, what would be the optimal response time that websites should aim for?
So usually, what is in our SLA, so software level service level agreement, that 200 milliseconds is already a quite good one. So this is 1/5 of a second. Usually websites, even state-of-the-art websites, does not load in so short time. So and apart from that, so we two things. First, we guarantee 99.9, so 39 for SLA for 200 millisecond response time, which is, as I said, a quite comfortable one already.
Okay.
Second, so I just forgot what I wanted to say, but it
okay. Brain freeze.
Okay.
Okay, and Spa's second question was, how was the recommendation system used for promoted ads, and what were the results?
Okay, so the recommendations for promoted ads is basically filtering on the recommendations. So because there are some promoted ads in the inventory. So in that box, which is called gallery, recommendations can be considered practically as a scoring function. So you score every potential ads to be displayed, and higher the score, the higher the given recommendation is on the list, and you present just the top few of that list to your visitor. So basically here we apply a filtering, and maybe Tamas knows better what were the results at Jófogás of the gallery recommendation box, but as far as I know, they increased the speed of sailing, what they measured in a questionnaire sent to the sellers, by about 15 to 20%. So this was how they measured the performance of gallery recommendations.
Okay, great, thank you. Spas, if that answered your question, just let me know in the chat box. But I'll move on till we hear back from him. Someone asked, how can we get the presentation? We will be following up with you Monday with the recording of the presentation, as well as Gravity's contact information. Another question from Arthur. Can you please elaborate on the ROI and how the CTR increase translate to a higher ROI?
Okay, so CTR increase is important in different stages let me go back to this one, of a classified website lifecycle. In the beginning, what is the most important is to gain enough users, be it sellers or buyers. So in this case, when you can show relevant content to your visitors, they will stay at the site. And we should also mention here the word of mouth effect. So if your friend is using a website which he is satisfied with, then he may recommend it to you. So in this way, the investment when you start a website can be drastically shortened, because you make use of your capital in a better way. So then, after the acquiring phase, we get to the activation phase, where you have to keep your visitors on site to reach a certain stage where you can already monetize your visitors. So when we are talking about monetization, then you provide value-added services for a certain amount of money for your sellers. And this is what could be seen, for instance, with the gallery optimization, that when we provided the right sponsored recommendations for the right user, those were sold faster, which also translates to increase to seller satisfaction, so they will return, and this will increase your acceptance by and your popularity in the country where you operate. So I think there are many factors how personalized solution can improve your ROI.
Great, thank you. We have another one, and it's what are some of the challenges of personalization when it comes to mobiles and tablets?
Okay, so basically there is not much difference between providing recommendations to mobiles, tablets, and PCs. As I mentioned, this is a backend solution, so what is important and what we measured already with different clients, not on the classified media online segment, that because of the size of the screen, it is very important to show relevant content, because you don't want to browse many pages to find what is relevant for you. So you want the right content at the right time there. So what we measured that with another website, that we had 20% CTR improvement on PC, while on mobile we had 30% improvement. So relative there was a 50% higher CTR, what we measured there. So I think this is why it is very important to launch the service on all kinds of devices.
Agreed, very much so. And going along with that, I have a question. What kind of return rate or user loyalty have you seen on a site that has included personalization versus a site that is not personalized?
Well, for us it's difficult to tell how it works when there is a non-personalized site, because when we come to the picture, then it starts to be personalized, so at some extent at least. So what we see that when we for instance applied or displayed recommendations on typical exit pages or bounce pages, then the bounce rate or the exit rate decreased drastically. So I think this is not a direct but rather an indirect influence, but it increases user loyalty significantly simply by keeping your visitors on site and showing them relevant stuff.
Okay, makes sense. And one last question before we go, unless anybody else has any others, just feel free to write them in the chat. But while we give some others a few more minutes, here's another one. When deciding on a personalization plan, what kind of things do you take into consideration?
Okay, so what we take into consideration is, for instance, the life cycle of the given site, what they want to optimize for. So, for instance, whether they want to optimize for providing, monetizing the site and applying gallery-like recommendations with sponsored ads, or whether they want to improve user engagement by providing recommendations on many different pages of the website. So usually each website has a goal of in the business what they follow, and also the recommendations should be compliant with that goal. So those are typically what we take into consideration, and also there are also technical details about that. So how we get information from the site, how we can optimize that process, and so on. So those are smaller technical challenges, but everything can be solved.
Great. Thank you. I think that's all the questions that we have, as it is 5 o'clock in Amsterdam, that is. So we just want to thank everyone for joining our webinar today, and we hope that you are all able to gain some more knowledge on personalization, and hopefully it'll help better your business. We'd also like to extend a huge thanks to Tamas and Domonkos for putting the webinar presentation together. And as I mentioned before, we have recorded this webinar and we will upload it to our website for members to access. And non-members will be able to access it on our YouTube account, and we will be sending those links to you Monday. Additionally, Tamas will be providing a write-up that's going to highlight the key points of the webinar, and we'll be posting that on the ICMA blog on our website. And also, if you guys are interested in any information on Rico or Gravity, please feel free to contact either Tamas or Domonkos, and we will provide their contact information on Monday as well. And one last thing, we would appreciate if you could take a minute to fill out the survey that you'll receive upon logging out of the webinar. And that concludes it. That's our webinar. Thank you all for joining in. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.